Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Nightfall run on Broodhold with Titan. For my subclass, I'll be using the Stasis Titan, the behemoth. Here are the fragments I'll be using for this video. For my loadout, I'll be using the 7 Seraph Officer Revolver along with the Arc Pulse Rifle, the GN7 rifle. And of course, I'll be using the worst weapon in the game. I'll be using the exotic machine gun, the Heir Apparent. Probably the worst weapons, to be honest. And I highly recommend you use Xenophage or the Lament. Next, I'll be using 5 Discipline, Hand Canyon Ammo Finder with Machine Gun Ammo Finder and Global Reach. Next, I'll be using Unstoppable Hand Cannon with Anti-Barrier Pulse Rifle, Fire Team Medic, and 10 Discipline. For my exotic, I'll be using the Armamentarium, which I will gain an additional grenade charge. I'll be using 10 Discipline Mod, Concussive Dampener, Arc Damage Resistance, and the Reactive Pulse. Next, I'll be using 5 Discipline Mod, Machine Gun, Scavenger, and Rage of the Warmind Cell. I accidentally put Grenade Garniture Scavenger because I was testing with a different weapon, so I would just put double Machine Gun Scavenger or Scavenger on the kinetic weapon. Next, I'll be using 5 Resistance, Spoils of War, Bomber, and Wrath of Rasputin. Alright guys, so I highly recommend use Xenophage or the Lament for the Titan because using the Heir Apparent machine gun is not really a good weapon and I'm using it as a joke and for giggles, if I have to be really honest. And I'll be showing you how bad this weapon is, and it's not really good, but we did get platinum and 100k, and I'm probably never going to use this loadout ever again because it took me hours to get the run done, counting days. So we're gonna go to this area and we're gonna do a little bit differently since long range isn't our best friend for this weapon. So I like to first take down the 2 snipers, which can be very annoying. And we're going to take down the barrier champion with the machine gun. Yes, I'm not even joking, I'm very serious. So I throw my nade and I'm just going to spam my machine gun to take it down quickly. And of course I have to be careful with Unstoppable Ogre. Like to troll you and try to kill you when trying to do DPS of the champion. So I'm reloading, I'm going to slide for my life. And I almost died, see? There. Highly recommend use Xenophage. And I'm going to try to take down the Unstoppable champion. And there are acolytes that can throw fire at you, which can be very, very dangerous. Now this exotic machine gun, like when I try to quickly switch to the machine gun to do DPS, sometimes the arc shield doesn't work properly. And you'll see very soon that doesn't activate. I think you have to have full health for it to activate, and honestly that is horrible, you know? So anyway, I'm trying to get a Warmind cell with this Unstoppable champion. And once I do, I'm going to quickly destroy the Warmind cell so I can push the Unstoppable champion to go in the back so I can do more DPS later, but a little far medium distance, not far distance, since the machine gun recoil, it's awful. It's really bad on PS4, if I have to be really honest. I throw my nade to try to freeze the Unstoppable champion, and for some reason my character did not want me to switch to the machine gun, and it can be super annoying. You can see there I was trying to switch my machine gun, but the game was like, nah Blitz, they didn't like me to use this machine gun. You can see here I'm trying to do DPS, and course I'll be using my finisher since we have Spoils of War, and we can get some heavy back. Now I do have some times where sometimes I don't get heavy at all. Sometimes Spoils of War can be buggy, because I swear guys, I did finishers on 10 champions and it wasn't working. I don't know why. I think the game doesn't like Titans. That's the only thing I can explain the answer of the result. So over here I'm trying to clear down all these acolytes and of course try to get a Warmind cell. And I'm reloading, sadly, on this worst machine gun I've ever had to use. Probably not going to use it ever again, to be honest. I really don't like it. There's going to be a couple of ads. I was trying to see if I can blind them with the shield. And it did for some, not all of it. And once I do, I try to get a Warmind cell. And then just take them down. So mainly I'll be using my kinetic weapon, then my pulse rifle. Pulse rifle be for long range and for barrier champions. So there are curse thralls, they do sometimes go a little aggressive. What I like to do is just freeze the thralls and then of course take down these curse thralls. You can also use your finisher as well. And when you do your finisher, it isn't, I guess it's safe. I mean, they will just explode from far distance, not in front of you. And now we're going to deal with the barrier champion. So I throw my nade, and I'm just going to spam my machine gun to try to kill it. And of course use my finisher, so I can get heavy back. So yeah, and also another thing I like to mention is sometimes you can get killed by your own heavy weapon, your own machine gun, when the barrier champion pops his shield. That's why sometimes I stop when it does its shield. So it's a bit RNG. It has happened to me 10 times where I just keep using the weapon and then I die. And it's the machine gun. And it's super weird. I'm not really sure why it does that. So I use my Warmind cell to clear a couple of ads, took down the snipers. And then I'll be dealing with the barrier champion. That's why I want to use double nades instead of the rig exotic. Because I want to freeze the barrier champion and actually make this machine gun a little bit useful. Not 100%, I would say 50% to take down the barrier champions. And like I said, I highly recommend you use Xenophage or the sword. I always like to stagger them and then throw a nade. Then I can use DPS. So once I do, use my finisher, clear down a couple of ads, and now we're gonna deal with another barrier champion. So there is a way you can kill barrier champions with your super. I figured this out. It took me some time to do some testing, but there is a way. So to fully kill the barrier champion with your super, you must use your super close by so it can freeze. That way you can use your melee, the shattered attack. Here I decided to use my super and just take it down with just my super. Now for this method is really, it's about timing. And it's best to do this when there are no ads around because sometimes aim assist makes you do like what you saw there. Makes you melee something you're not supposed to melee. And little things like that can happen. And another reason why I want to use Stasis Titan is because the Stasis Titan isn't really that strong for PvE, mainly for PvP. And I've been trying to find a way to use it for Nightfalls, and I finally managed for this Nightfall. I can use it for barrier champion. But the problem is, to use it efficiently, you have to time it perfectly and to make sure there are no ads messing up your DPS or bothering you, because the melee for your super for the Titan will melee them instead of the champion, and it could be a bad thing. Now we're gonna go to the room where there's gonna be a lot of champions and the most annoying unstoppable ogre in the game, and I despise it on Titan. They behave so differently every time I go on a Titan. I don't know why. I think Bungie doesn't like Titans for this season, if I had to be really honest. I never had problems with the unstoppable champion, with my hunter and warlock, but for some weird reason, I was having a lot of problems with this unstoppable champion. And then we'll be talking about that really soon once I encounter it. So I like to first take down the barrier champion, but first I wanted to make Warmind cells, so I could take down all these acolytes I love to play hide and seek. And if you guys play Sathman's Song, mainly they behave similar to that, where they hide behind the rocks and try to troll you and give you a hard time. So I staggered the barrier champion, quickly threw my nade, and decided to use my machine gun, the Heir Apparent. Quickly I used my finisher, and then there will be a wave of ads. Since we kill the barrier champion that spawns the worms of death, we're going to deal with a wave of ads, cursed thralls, and I like to try to make Warmind cells so I can clear them down, or I can just spam my kinetic weapon just to take them down. So now we're going to deal with the unstoppable champion, and unstoppable champion was behaving very differently, and it always does on my Titan no matter what I do. Usually it's right there behind the acolytes, but for some reason this unstoppable champion was all the way far away, just trolling me, waving at me, making me waste my time. And it was a little frustrating, especially when we're using this machine gun, which has very little long range on PS4. And it's gonna be a big problem, if I have to be honest. I tried to flank the unstoppable champion and then throw my nade. Now this champion will push you, or it will be a coward and just pull back just to give you a hard time, and that's what happened to me. Now I will say that this champion is very sneaky. There are times where this champion lags and sneaks up to me from the left side and kills me. And it's so ridiculous, I'm not even joking. I'm going to show you proof that this unstoppable champion can actually go all the way from the right side and kill you. And this happened to me more than 10 times, by the way. And then the scary part about this unstoppable champion is sometimes when you stagger it, it doesn't work. And I had times where this unstoppable champion sneak up on me from the right side. I stagger it 2 times. The game said I stagger it. It didn't work. And it was horrible. It's super buggy, super unfair. So now we're going to deal with the 2 acolytes. These guys like to throw fire at you, and I like to take them down quickly. And now we're going to deal with this barrier champion. I like to first stagger the champion and then throw my nade, because it can walk away from the nade just like overload champions, if you guys remember that in Glassway. And I just want to definitely take it down quickly with the machine gun. So now there'll be a wave of ads since we kill a champion that spawns the worms of death. Sadly, I had to reload, and aim assist was not my best friend, and I had to take them down with just a kinetic weapon. So little things like that can happen. It can be really, really annoying, especially when I want to destroy the Warmind cell, but the game won't let me. So now there is one more wizard, and I just took it down with my heavy. So once I do, I'm going to take down the 2 barrier champions. And of course the acolytes, can see that his Acolyte's very aggressive with me. It wasn't that aggressive on my Warlock and Titan run, but for some reason on Titan decided to spam the melee and try to kill me. So I'm trying to regain my health because for some reason this barrier champion was being very aggressive with me. It was acting very different. And it was super weird. So first I like to stagger and then this happens. Something buggy happens in this video. I'm trying to remember if it's this footage. So I was shooting it and the nade wasn't working. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to put double grenades for stasis, because little things like that can happen. And I was really happy. I was like, oh, thank God I had double nades for this run. Imagine if I used rigs for this. You know, I will have to wait for my charge again and then waste more time. Then I won't be able to get 100k for this run. So now I decided to use my super, and using the super, you have to time it right. And it can be super annoying, so I use my super close by, and then melee, and then use the R2 attack. So for some reason this Arc Knight tried to push me and backed away. Usually it's just staying back, but for some reason this footage, it decided to try to push and melee me. So now we're gonna have another wave of ads. I like to go up here just to see where they are and take them down. Then I shoot a Warmind cell, and now I'm going to pick up the Worms of Death. Unfortunately we didn't get points from the curse thralls because I didn't tag them, but it's no big deal, to be honest. So now I decided to pop a shield, and I'm going to pick up the worm and ignore them. I honestly am not going to bother myself trying to kill them. So I decided to just ignore them because, hey, we kill all the champions. Like, what's the point of killing the Arc Knights, to be honest? You know, this is Master, not Legend. So we don't really have to clear down all the ads or majors, only champions, since this video is platinum and 100k. So now what I like to do is, of course, you know, place the worm and make the boss spawn. I like to go behind this rock, and I'm just going to spam my machine gun. And this gun is awful. It's horrendous.
There's the queen.
So I decided to throw my nade to get an extra damage boost. Just to make this boss run away so we can chase it. So once I reload, I decided to pick up some heavy in the cave where the Arc Knights were guarding their life. All ads will despawn once the boss appears. I think this method's easier, to be honest. You know, you could just pick up the heavy that you missed, especially when using Spoils of War. You know, it's just too dangerous to pick it up when Arc Knights are guarding there. So now I'm going to proceed to the next section, and this one is pretty annoying. Very annoying. I honestly did not enjoy at all using this weapon in this room, because the machine gun I'm using, the Heir Apparent, the range is awful. And now a bug, of course, we have to suffer, as you have to stagger it 2 times because this unstoppable champion is buggy. So I decided to shoot the worm myself, to take down a couple of ads, and now we're gonna focus on the unstoppable champion. And I'm trying my best to kill it from far distance, but the recoil is just really hard to control with this machine gun. Now don't get me wrong, I mean this weapon is amazing on PvP, but for PvE I don't really think it's good. So I'm trying my best to use this weapon and it is not looking good. This unstoppable champion's not pushing and I can't go close by because the Shrieker will attack me and it's not good because I do not have ward resist. So this can be very bad for me. So now I'm just taking my time to take down this unstoppable champion. I'm trying to make it push, you know, and at the same time trying to be careful because, you know, it can kill me, you know, shoots void, you know, it's not really pleasant. I decided to use my finisher. No, I decided to take it down and I didn't want to use my finisher. I didn't want to risk of the Shrieker trying to kill me. I mean, yes, of course I can pop a shield, but you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. So now over here, I'm trying to use my kinetic weapon to take down the Shrieker. I have tried using the machine gun, but it just doesn't work. And that's why I highly recommend you use Xenophage. Xenophage is better than this machine gun. Now I'm trying to take down the Shrieker, and at the same time there are going to be a couple of ads that are going to push, especially cursed thralls and thralls. So I decided to pop a shield from the right side, just in case they try to sneak up on me. You know, you never know. It's a bit RNG here where they go, these ads. And you can see there that I blinded them with my shield. Now, for some reason, my kinetic weapon is stronger than my pulse rifle, so that's why I decided to use my kinetic weapon than my pulse rifle, you know? So once I took down the Shrieker, I can finally push and take down the ads and of course deal with the second Shrieker and the acolytes. So there are 3 snipers and there is a Shrieker, which is really hard to see on PS4. Not really sure why, but if you look way up from the right, there is a Shrieker. And what I like to do is first take down the snipers, because they can 3-shot you. If 3 of them shoot you at the same time with full health, they can 3-shot you and it'll be a wipe. Now I did try using the machine gun, but it doesn't work. It's awful. So unfortunately I had to use my pulse rifle and take down the 3 snipers. There is one more hiding and I had to wait until it finally shows up to say hi to me. That way I can kill it. Now I decide to use my kinetic weapon to take down the Shrieker. So if I crouch down, sometimes the Shrieker doesn't shoot you. Sometimes. I'm not gonna say it doesn't. It can shoot you. And if it does, like you see over here, I go to the wall and then I resume my DPS. So once I take down the Shrieker, we're going to be dealing with 2 barrier champions. And it's going to be a big headache. And like I said in my other videos, killing a barrier champion with a Stasis Titan, you have to time it right. And that's what I did. So I freeze it and then of course use R2. So I was taking my time trying to take down the barrier champion. So this barrier champion almost killed me, so you can see that it can be very dangerous to use my super. So once I regain my health, I try to throw a nade. And for some reason this barrier champion was hiding. And finally it showed up, and I can do some DPS and take it down with the machine gun. Well, the Heir Apparent machine gun. So I was spamming my nade to see if I can freeze it and then use my machine gun. So once I do, I decide to use my finisher so I can get some heavy back. And I was really happy because I got 2 heavy bricks, full ammo and heavy. Wonderful. So now I decided to go from little close range and quickly try to do DPS at the Void Shadow boss. So of course it did spawn the circle, the Void Circle of Death, which I highly recommend to slide or to jump out. And we're gonna deal with 2 unstoppable champions and a couple of ads. Decided to pop my shield there so they could be blind. And of course throw my nade. I was hoping to get a Warmind cell, but it fell down from the bridge, so I had to use my heavy to take them down because it was getting a little bit crowded and out of control. So once I do, I decide to use my kinetic weapon to take both of the champions down. So in this video I decided not to use finishers to get spoils of war to get heavy. I felt it was too dangerous and I decided to take my time and to take down these unstoppable champions by stunning them and just using my pulse rifle since I have major spec. So yeah guys, isn't this fun? So if I was using Xenophage, right, then this run would be much faster, to be honest, and I would have no problem dealing with these 2 champions with Xenophage, since Xenophage has long distance, good DPS with the champions. Now I have tried to use a machine gun with these champions, but the problem is the second champion will try to kill you with the void attack, and it could be a wipe, especially if you're not careful. And I wanted to save my heavy for the boss fight, to be honest, so I decided to just use my kinetic weapons and the pulse rifle as well. Now if I was using Lament, then I would have to take down the first unstoppable champion and then push to take down the second one with the Lament. There's really no pros of using this machine gun, there's just all in cons, so honestly I just wouldn't use this weapon. And like I said in my video in the beginning, I said I'm using this weapon as a joke and for giggles. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoying, because this honestly, I was debating GM, Hunter, Anarchy, or this one, or Titan run. I decided to do a Titan run since I haven't really made a video about the Stasis Titan in any of my Nightfall videos. I thought it would be a fun idea just to show you how bad this weapon is. Like, this is the worst weapon ever. Anarchy, Xenophage, any other heavy weapons are better. Besides Darcy. Darcy's not that good, to be honest. So yay! Alright, I'm gonna do a mini time skip. I'm really getting sick of the pulse rifle sounds. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to take down the unstoppable ogre. And I'm going to be proceeding to the next room, the boss room. And this is gonna be a headache, unfortunately. This is gonna be very stressful. And to be honest, I did not enjoy using this machine gun at all at this boss fight. So acolytes like to push and decide to freeze them along with the champion. So once I freeze the champion again, I decide to use my machine gun to DPS it and to use my finisher. We're going to pick up the worm and we're going to deal with the boss. Not really sure where to begin. I decided to pop a shield just to try to get some grenade charge back since we have bomber. I decided to use my machine gun, especially when it freezes, so I could do some DPS. So when doing DPS at the boss, there will be a wave of ads spawning, and you can take them down with your kinetic weapon, and hopefully you can get some heavy breaks. The boss always seems to run away all the way from the back like a troll, unfortunately. Then once you clear that ads, it decides to push aggressive and try to kill you. And you can see there, it decided to use Nova Glaze, which is a one-hit, by the way. And I will say in this video I did almost die from the Nova Glaze. I was near the wall, but like 50%. But if I was like open space, like hello boss, then it would be a one-hit death. So now I'm just using my kinetic weapon, and it's going to split up to the Dark Void, where everyone despises. And let's be honest, nobody likes the Void Wizard. I don't like it. You don't like it. I hate it. It's my worst enemy. So you can see there, you can pop a shield for Titan, and you can avoid the Nova Glaze with the barricade. So yeah, that's the best thing about the Titan. You can take advantage with the barricade if you are in trouble of looking for cover. So now I was trying to do DPS at the boss. And there's gonna be a wave of ads spawning, and I decided to take my time to clear them down and then do more DPS. So when there are a wave of ads, the boss seems to pull back a bit. But once ads are cleared down, or at least all of them except one, then they can push you and try to stomp you and make your life hell in this run. I'm not even joking, I'm serious. Like once you clear down like 99% of the ads, this boss is going to push you and try to push her off the walls so you can die. So always be on the lookout of where the boss is doing. He likes to spam, and you can see there, try to stomp me. And here's an example of why I hate the Void Wizard or the Void Boss. I hate it, I despise it, and I would prefer using Anarchy, to be honest, with this boss than this weapon. So now I'm going to run in circles, and I'm going to deal with the boss. I'm going to use my kinetic weapon, and hopefully it will spawn a barrier champion very soon. I was trying to find a good angle so I could take it down, and it's going to be very dangerous, especially with using the super and dealing with the acolytes. It's going to be very dangerous. I always try my best to try to avoid the void circle of death from the boss, because it can one-shot you, and since I have no void resistance, it can be very frustrating. So now the boss decided to pull back since I did some DPS. And there's going to be a barrier champion appearing, and this is where things get stressful. Very stressful. Then later on it's going to be scary. It's not going to even be stressful or frustrating. It's going to be scary. Like, I'm not even joking. So, decided to try my best to freeze them quickly and take them down. And of course, multitasking of where the boss is going and what the boss is doing and where the boss is. You know, all those three things at the same time. And I was trying to figure out where the boss is, and I thought it was behind me. So I decided to pull back a bit and then try to take down the barrier champion. So I was debating to use my super to take it down, but it's going to be really tough to do, especially with the boss running around, trolling, and it's going to try to kill me. So I was trying to find a good angle to take down the barrier champion and decided to use my super for this footage, if I remember. So I always try to take down all the ads first. That way they won't interrupt me except the boss. So I threw out my nade and I decided to use my super. And honestly, this is very dangerous, if I have to be really honest. And this is why I recommend use Lament or Xenophage. So once I do, I get my super. I got the hell out of there because that freaking boss was going to one-shot me with the Void Circle of Death. So yeah, I highly recommend use Xeno. Don't use his machine gun. Seriously, this is very stressful. Right now, I can deal with the boss, and I can do DPS. So I'm going to do a mini time skip. Basically, I'm just going to take my time trying to do DPS at the boss so it can split in two. Alright guys, so the boss gonna split in two. In this footage, I decided to kill the void boss first. And you'll be seeing me very frustrated and scared to death. And you'll be seeing of what happens when you kill the void boss first. And it is very dangerous, and honestly, the reason why I did that is because I really got fed up with trying to kill the barrier champion with the Stasis super and decided to try this out. So you can see there, I almost died, but luckily a wall saved me. And now I am hiding for my life and crouching, taking down the cursed thralls, and there's going to be an unstoppable champion walking very slowly towards me, scaring me to death. And all I can say is, this is dangerous. I wouldn't recommend to do this. I was taking down the Arc Knight, Wave of Infinite Ads, and at the same time looking at that Unstoppable Ogre because I am terrified of what it's gonna do. It's just slowly walking and looking at me and saying, "Gonna get you, Blitz. Gonna kill ya." I'm looking at it. I said, I have the Heir Apparent machine gun. The worst weapon can destroy you. And another thing I'd like to mention is every time the boss does his Nova Glaze, it starts to spawn more ads. So there is a wave of infinite spawns and an unstoppable champion trying to kill you. This champion is slowly walking towards me, trying to kill me and ruin my platinum. And why is this machine gun so slow when doing DPS, especially at this situation? And I quickly did my finisher, and finally I took it down. So, what have we learned today? I learned that killing the solar boss is easier, but with a better heavy weapon. So yeah, that's what I learned. So finally we killed the ogre and I was so terrified. Honestly, I thought the unstoppable champion was gonna kill me because like I said in my last two videos, there's nowhere to hide, and when the unstoppable goes aggressive, it's going to run around the map chasing you along with the wizard, spamming his Nova Glaze with a wave of infinite ads. So you can see when the boss spams his Nova Glaze, it can also spawn infinite waves of ads. Now for the void boss, it doesn't, like once you kill the champion, it doesn't really spawn a wave of ads for the void wizard compared to the solar one. So now I'm just trying to use my machine gun. I didn't want to use my super. I was terrified because this solar boss can stomp you. And it's very aggressive, by the way. Along with the Nova Glaze, I did not want to use my super. But finally I defeated the boss. Got Platinum rank and 100k. So yay! With Heir Apparent machine gun. The worst machine gun ever. Use Xenophage, use Lament. Don't even use this gun. This gun's horrible. I did not enjoy using it at all, and I don't think I'll be using it again, ever. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.